You're listening to the Keep It Real podcast with Zach Phelan, where we talk everything real estate, real business, and real life. My name is Zach Phelan, and I'm a real estate investor, realtor, entrepreneur, and family man. This podcast is brought to you by Home Scout. Home Scout shows you every home listed on the market in real time, meaning if a home you're looking at goes under contract with another buyer, you will see it in real time. You can track homes that have sold, save favorite homes, get notified when a home hits the market in a neighborhood you're watching, and so much more. The best thing about Home Scout is your information is 100% secure. The only people who can see your phone number and email is yours truly, Zach Phelan, and my lender, Jenna Groff. Most people don't know this, but other apps and platforms sell your information to at least 3 realtors and 7 lenders. That's 10 phone calls and multiple emails from 10 different people. Keep your information safe in our hands. We promise not to abuse it. Download the Home Scout app now. The link is below in the show notes, or email me and I will send you a direct link. If prompted for a VIP code, use my phone number 928-853-0683. Go download the Home Scout app now and start searching for that new home today. Thank you for sitting down with me today. I know you're busy.
That's all right, Zach. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, seriously busy. But so we're going to talk a little bit, Realty One Group, Mountain Desert, why I'm over here, and just kind of get into it real quick. I haven't even got to sit down with Daniel. We did a couple emails, and I was like, hey, I'm coming over to the brokerage. You were on vacation or something. What were you doing?
Oh, I don't know.
You were out of town. You're like, I'm out of town.
My
Hold on.
statewide tour is normal.
Yeah. You're like, I'm out of town. We'll get it figured out. I said, all right, just send me the paperwork and we'll get it rolling. But so tell the guys, gals a little bit about yourself, background in real estate, all that fun stuff.
Sure. Well, I've been in the business now for about 15 years, and obviously started out as an agent. Still, I'm an agent at heart, and over the last 10 years or so, I've really built my business. Started in new construction, got into foreclosures, partnered up with Jeff Collins, my business partner, and we just built our real estate team, the Collins team. And about 2012, we expanded into the Flagstaff market. But about a year later, we started thinking we needed something different. We wanted a model that would allow us to work 2 different markets, to expand our team, look at new opportunities, and just do bigger and better things. And I felt that there was a need for this business model, Realty One Group, which is a franchise. At the time, they were just starting the franchising opportunity, and they were just blowing up all throughout Arizona. And we took the opportunity to put the brand in Lake Havasu City, where I'm from originally, and Flagstaff simultaneously, really just to kind of for our real estate team, but quickly realized there was a huge need and demand for the market with a low-cost brokerage that was sexy, cool, and fun and a little bit different, and really offered everything that we needed so we could do our business bigger, faster, better, and quite frankly, cheaper.
Nice. So you started Lake Havasu and moved up here?
Yep, born and raised in Lake Havasu
Good
City.
Call.
Moved here in 2012. I call myself an early snowbird now. I kind of do both cities.
Yeah, you're traveling back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Well, right on, cool. So, why Realty One Group? Franchise was starting back in 2012, and just, what was calling? What made you, pull the trigger on it?
Well, at the time, I looked at my business model, and, with a real estate team, you want to keep your costs low. So I was already at 100% business model company at the time. But, oftentimes when you do stuff like other franchises, which I was being recruited by often, each city had a different owner, and you kind of had to start all over. You couldn't do one brand, one brokerage in multiple cities. Every franchise owner tended to do different models, and I didn't like that. I wanted to be able to have my own freedom. So that was the first thing. I wanted to be able to build a company that I owned, that I could have one broker, one brand in 2 cities, or multiple cities if I decided. Yeah. And so that's ultimately what we ended up building. But also, I just thought it was a cool hit brand. It was kind of an up-and-coming, a little bit different. I call it kind of sexy, cool, a little bit younger, Google-esque. It wasn't kind of your typical corporate, Fortune 500 company that was just kind of old and stuffy. I loved the leadership that was a part of Realty One Group with Kuba at the time. And quite frankly, it grew in Vegas, started in Vegas, grew in Phoenix, So it was really dominating the two cities and Southern California, where most of my clients were coming from, and yours too, I'd imagine.
Yep.
So the whole Southwest region is where Realty One Group was founded and has really kind of grown exponentially. Today, it's probably the second largest brokerage in Arizona, the number one in Vegas, and probably the second or third in Southern California, and growing every single day. So it's exciting to be a part of that and to see where it's come over the last, we've been in this now about 4.5 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really grown. I think the last office meeting, Jeff said we have 10% of market share.
At least, yeah. In this town, every market's at least, 8 to 13%.
That's awesome.
That we're in, and we're in 7 cities now.
Yeah, congratulations to you, because you've been growing it and blowing
it's
it
not
up.
all me. We got a great group of people that help support this and build this. But
yeah, and kind of the model is for other agents to bring in more agents and educate them on what their options are, and that's part of the whole reason I want to do this podcast. Sit down with you is like, so why new agents? Why agents trying to, even if you're moving? Like I was at Keller Williams the other day, took. A 70-30 split was killing me. Yeah. I did not like that at all. And, I didn't know there was other options out there. I just didn't have the education, didn't know about it. And now I'm like, I got people telling, I've sent you a couple emails with people getting licensed. Like, you guys got to come over here. And there's a few reasons why. So why for new agents?
Well, not all brokerages are equal, right? I mean, I started with a good company, Coldwell Banker, in my early years. It was a great company, good owner and everything like that. But what you quickly realize is, if you're going to be in this business for the long term, what is the brokerage offering for you? Ultimately, it's your business. That's the way we believe about it. It's not my business. It's your business as an agent. We're here to support you. So we do offer a ton of training, which is great. We give you the structure to do the business the way you want to be doing it and supporting you. So from the onset, as a new agent, what I believe, number one, in our markets, thankfully, we've got great market share. So that's great for a new agent to have more real estate signs in the market to give you that extra leverage of branding. Yeah. We give you all the extra branding that you would need internally from websites and CRMs, marketing tools, social media, but not to mention a lot of in-house biweekly training and mentorship, which is critical. I didn't have that in my beginning years. So when we started looking at, as we're bringing on agents, how do we get them from point A to point B faster?
Get them really up and running,
Yeah, you got to give them a structure. I could throw all the tools at them all day long, but most agents don't use them yet. They just don't know how. This is a very relational business. This is obviously a very contractual type business. So we got to be familiar with that. And education is powerful, especially as a new agent. If you're being a sponge and you're soaking up around great people who are producing good leaders and people who've been in the business long enough to know how to work this business. I don't mean theoretically from like a real estate school. I'm talking about practically. Yeah. Like how many homes have you sold? We've sold hundreds and hundreds of homes every year. So we're kind of in the trenches helping people how to navigate this business, faster. I mean, many agents take way too long to get to, let's say, 5 or 10 sales. And, many still will, but we want to help them, give them an environment to which success is 100% possible. They just got to put the effort into it.
Yeah. Yeah. You said a bunch of things right there I love. One of them was the first one of the trainings we went to is the Jackie Tate, and it was in the trenches. This is how the business is going right now, and this is the training you need. Yeah. There's a lot of new agents sitting in there, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is great. Because you get out of real estate school, you don't know anything. Yeah. And that's part of what you do here is you teach people how to go from that 0 to 5 sales or 0 to 10 sales. How do you walk in and get your first listing? You've never sold a home before. How are you gonna lean on that? You can lean on the brokerage and say, look, we have over 10% of the market share. We're gonna do these home tours. I have so many in-house agents that are gonna show your house. You get to lean on people that way.
Yeah, and then once you do get that, then what? That's also a big thing because I get a lot of new agents that come to me and says, I want to sign up. I want to be a realtor with your company, and that's great. And I have a listing coming on. How are you going to service that client better? And so how are you going to market it? Like all that stuff. I mean, these are things that most new agents don't think about. I've often said, like, real estate's a sport. Many people just love to show homes, but it's so much more than that. Like, doing your diligence and doing a good job and marketing in it and getting the most money for your client. And that's kind of who we are. We want to help agents with that. So with our education team and all the classes and support we have, that's really one component of it. and then really taking it to the next level and really leveling up and say, how do you now use systems and tools to better your business, leverage with staff and transaction coordinators or whatever. But, it's a overall, I call it the full package.
Yeah.
But
I know, and it really is. I tell people, they're getting ready to get their license. They're like, hey, I want to start selling homes. Zach, I want to get into real estate. What do I need to know? And I'm like, yeah, you need to know a bit. It's going to take you a couple of years probably to get up and go. And you guys, you said it, you offer that bi-weekly training. It seems like weekly training to me, but there's always something going on for new agents to come in. And we have that Rev Up. How many classes is that?
It's a 12-week course. We do it every other week, so it takes a total of 24 weeks. The intention is you do a class a week, and then the week off you implement it. Yeah,
and that's huge. If you don't implement it, you're not gonna work.
you gotta take action.
And that's smart because it takes a little bit of time to set some of these things up. I mean, me and Sammy it took us like a week to figure out Videolicious, I guess. And that was one of the tools that you provide that I didn't even know about coming over here.
There's a lot you probably don't know.
No, there's a whole bunch I don't know, guys. There's a lot I don't know still. But, it's so as a new agent coming in, I just tell them, or even other agents who are at other brokerages and they're not getting the training they need. They're like, I've been struggling for a year. What do I do? I'm like, well, how much training have you done? I read like the Keller Williams book years ago, and I read the one thing. And I'm like, well, that's not real estate.
Well, I think that's another thing that we offer is because I'm a student of the business too. I mean, I've read the books, I listen to podcasts weekly. I mean, I train at a higher level. I don't mean just on how to do the business, but like how to grow a business, how to think like a business owner. So I think having someone like myself and Jeff Hoover and my business partner around to kind of bounce ideas off of in-house is also a really critical element because, I see a lot of, let's say, call them broker owners or whatever they're there to own it and help, but they're not selling daily. They're not doing kind of what we do. And I think that's an important thing. And mindset will make or break you in this business.
Yeah, it really will.
And I believe that, and I guess you could call it all the rah-rah out there, but, that's what makes people successful. And it's great in practice. It's great in theory, but it also works.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, we wouldn't do it, but it does. And I think that it helps people kind of build their mindset up and stay in this business because it'll eat you up and spit you out, man. It's tough, man. Your clients are, demanding and it's challenging, up and down, 3 or 4 months sometimes without sales, and you got to support your family or whatever you want to do. And we want to help agents, create a business that's sustainable and long term out of this because that's a rewarding career, and owning your own business is. Unlike anything else in real estate, you can do that with.
I've only been licensed for 5 years, been in it for 6, doing some wholesaling before. And only really in the last 2 years have I really started thinking of myself as a business owner. Yeah. I'm a small business owner and I'm creating this, lifelong, clientele, basically taking care of these first home buyers from their first sale to the second sale, third sale, fourth sale, and acquiring all their friends and family type stuff.
Yeah.
And, that mind shift is huge that you were just talking about. Like we absorbed all the Tony Robbins stuff, went to Brendan Burchard's High Performance Academy. We taken that stuff on podcast too. And it's great to, you're doing it too. And then when you sit down with somebody, part of my questions in there is like, what's one of your favorite books? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What information are you consuming and putting into your brain? What are you blocking out at the same time? And, how is that going to progress your life forward? Not just your business, but, all around the whole culture that you were talking about earlier here is another thing I love and Samantha loves too. She's just like, we've never been in a culture like this before. And that's huge.
Yeah. And what I like most about it is they've got so many more ideas to build upon what we've already have. And so I just think the best still yet to come. I mean, there's, so much to do, so little time, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, I'm like
another project or something on the books, but
I know you put a project on the book. Even this podcast, we're like, all right, let's launch. Let's do this thing. And now it's going to launch officially on March 5th. They'll start going weekly, coming out. But it's been like, I've wanted to do this for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And it's finally happening. But there's always tons of projects. But a little bit of shift, kind of like. People ask me what's going on in the market, consistently. If we had the crystal ball, if you had the crystal ball, what do you think is going on right now, and where would you say it's going?
Well, if we all had a crystal ball, we all wouldn't be doing real estate, right? We'd be doing something else. But I think there's a subtle adjustment, and it's 2 adjustments going on simultaneously. I believe there's a little bit of shift in the market itself. So If you look at statistics, we see a slowdown in the number of homes. We call that volume sold every single month. We're down about 30 to 40% in number of homes sold. Uniquely, though, we're still seeing a slight increase in pricing, anywhere from 3 to 6%, which is a pretty healthy market. And when that happens, you kind of have a push and a pull with buyers and sellers. Buyers still want, a certain price, and so do sellers. So you kind of have that push and the pull. So therefore, homes stay on the market longer, which therefore pushes volume down. I think another reason volume's down is, early in the year we have holidays and so forth that we're getting through, weather changes, but also right now some interest rate fluctuations. They're up, but they're still very, very low. So I think after that, those rates saturate their mind and that becomes a norm, then I think we'll see some more buying coming into the market. I mean, in our market, specifically in Flagstaff, inventory is still quite low, relative, affordability. So there's some new projects coming up, but I think the market really is dependent on the consumer. Oftentimes we as realtors focus on so much of the news and statistics, which is great, but ultimately we're selling homes to people who are going to live in these, let's say, for 2 to 20 years. And do you want to wait for the best deal or the best time, or do you want to just start enjoying a home for your family? And that's what I encourage people to look at. Right now rates are great. They really are. For the long term, and I don't see them really dropping down. Things can change, but ultimately, what do you want out of life? Homes are that.
Yeah.
Unless you're an investor, but there's still investment opportunities out there.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to so many first-time home buyers, and it's just like it finally dawns. They're like, I'm tired of paying rent.
Yeah.
I need to put money into my own house, and how do I do it? And the part of these educational things or podcasts we're putting out, just telling and talking to people like, this is how you do it. These are steps that you go to get there. But same thing. I kind of take it to a personal level too, and I listen to the market almost. If I'm listening to a conversation over there, that real estate conversation starts and you just hear it. you can't avoid it. And it's always, to me, it's the buyers talking a little bit and feeling like the market is high. And if they look, they're just like, the market's been going up for the last 2 years. I think it's high. And then they turn around to me and they go, Zach, what do you think? And I'm like,
well, tell them rents are even higher. Those aren't going down.
Rents have gone up. They're going to continue to go up. And and then they look at me and I go, me and Sam are going to buy, this year. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, well, okay. But I'm in the same boat. I think the interest rates are where they should be, and that they're still pretty darn low.
Yeah. All we can do is focus on things we can control and can't control, like that stuff. I mean, there's opportunities out there, and we deal with clients every day. I mean, I sold homes, just as many homes in the downturn. So I mean, if things change, great. There's still opportunity out there for different people.
Yeah. So what's working, currently in your business? So some agents are out there, they're like, oh, yeah, they're freaking out a little bit. What do I do?
That goes into the next thing, the shift in the way realtors are doing their business. I mean, there's so many threats or new models out there. In our market, we're unique as, small town, rural communities where we're still very relational. A lot of people from out of the area are calling in. They're not in town driving around. So they really need boots on the ground. They need local pros like us to do the deals and help them and show them where the neighborhoods are and, where are the opportunities and so forth. So what's working, I think, is a few things. And what's changing is the way we do our business, has been built over the internet for many, many years. And I think that's getting a little more saturated. There's more agents doing that. There's more phone calls going out. And I think that gets harder and harder to get through to the consumer. But ultimately, if the consumer knows that we're really there to service them and help them, and they knew they could get resources directly from us, and they didn't have to go to, like, let's say, the Zillows of the world and get bombarded, that would be really a great message. So I think the internet still works, obviously. There's no faster, better way to reach data and also consumers. But I think ultimately what works for us, in addition to the internet and websites and stuff like that, is just creating consistent content to get people to connect with us. Reviews, testimonials are huge because people want to be liked and trusted.
Known, like, and trust.
We really got to build that up, and we do in our business. We get a lot of referrals that way. I don't know. I guess you could also say, the old school, so to speak, ways of doing business, from open houses, expireds for sale by owners. Those things are coming back because, there's more expireds on the market because they're staying on the longer. I'd say actually there's less for sale by owners than ever on the market, but those people are having a harder time selling because they don't have the resources or the connectivity that they would get maybe from a realtor marketing exposure. But I mean, I guess whatever works is however you work. Everyone's going to do it differently, but if you work it hard and do it long enough, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, you put in the work, it's going to pay off. That's
for sure,
that's for darn sure in this business. It's whatever you put into it is what you're going to get back out of it, and it's putting in the work and doing it. You hit on a couple things that what you said, old school. Old school to me now is like picking up the phone and calling.
Yeah.
Because people are so used to getting an email, so used to getting the text or starting to get that. Like, what's up? Talk to them for 10 minutes, and then they'll ask you. If they know eventually, well, how's business? What's going on in real estate? They'll ask all those things, and you can drop that question, who do you know I should be talking to, type of stuff. And, that worked. I called every single seller and buyer from the past 2 years yesterday, and I had a bunch of 10, 15-minute conversations.
Yeah.
And they were all good. A bunch of them are like, I got leads for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good stuff.
Well, you don't know if you don't ask. Oftentimes it just takes
Yep.
the ask, hey, what's up? And who do you know? Like you said, who you should be talking to. The phone call worked 30 years ago. It's going to work in 30 years from now. It'll never stop working because you can't replace a conversation. Emails, we get so many of them today. Obviously, we use them in our business, but it gets deleted very quickly and maybe never even read. Texts, I think, are a little more diluted these days, but they're at least going to be seen. So that's more of a marketing power, I think, is just getting in front of people and creating mind space.
And that's where we're at in our business, too, is how do we stay in front of everybody? How do we get in front of everybody and stay in front of everybody and be top of mind?
Sure.
That's kind of the trick of it. And and that's part of the creating some of this evergreen content where it's going to be out there forever, and it's not gone. That's one of the things I don't love about social media is it's gone in 24 hours. No one's going to see it again.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, man, that was some good stuff I wrote down. Why didn't I put that in a blog? I have those types of thoughts down. So that's kind of where I'm moving in towards. But, we see some of the same stuff as just, holding that open house. Is it really gonna do it in Flagstaff? For me, it hasn't. But for some agents, it does work.
Well, you should take this to the next level and do virtual 24/7 live hangout open houses. I did that once, and it was actually pretty cool.
So I'm gonna not do 24/7, but Jackie Tate put that in my mind. Try that virtual open house. So yesterday I didn't have great connectivity showing a house, so I did a couple stories on it. But yeah, every time if you're gonna go show a nice house, pull it out and do the virtual open, and then part of me and Sammy's deal on the YouTube is gonna do once a week like a Flagstaff Cribs. Let's go around, do a virtual open and record it, put it on YouTube, and let people check out the houses.
That's cool.
Talk about the neighborhood, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
just staying in front of people. So. That's what we're getting into. What else do I got down here I want to talk about? So you got a couple different businesses going. Well, not businesses, but opportunities coming. So what's going on with Trails End? Tell me about it. I see the stuff in the back office, but really what's happening there?
Yeah. So Trails End is a brand new community by a new developer who's not new, but new to Flagstaff. Brookfield Communities. It's a long-standing 25-year-old business in Arizona. They built couple thousand homes, and they're new to Flagstaff now. So we've got a new community called Trails End, east side of Flagstaff, just past the mall, right at the base of that Cinder Hill area. And it's about 30 homes. These are, it's called, the city of Flagstaff calls it transect zoning. So these are smaller lots, but front porch style living. So picture downtown style-esque homes in kind of East Flagstaff, where you're still in the city water, city utilities, and everything. So we've been delayed by the snow and the weather to get the road in, but we should be up and running with the road by mid to late April, so we can start developing the following month our first few models. So we only have 30 homes, beautiful views of Mount Eldon. Yeah, these homes are great because they're going to start at under $300,000. Brand new homes with air conditioning, upgraded kitchens. Smaller 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom floor plans, single and 2-story options, all with a front porch style living. So you get to know your neighbors, kind of get out front. And you still have some backyards too, but these are designed for like the old style of Flagstaff homes. So we've got a website, trailsendflagstaff.com. You could check out the floor plans. You can come here to see her in our office. contact either one of us, and they can kind of get an idea of what that options are. But yeah, it's a neat community.
Yeah, I like it a lot. When I saw the houses, I was like, oh, yeah, these are a little bit different than what some of the other competition's doing. They're going to be staring right at Eldon and kind of the peaks. So you're going to have a great view. The west side of town is being built up, I would say. And some of the, you guys are out on the east side, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of land left. So this is just a small little pocket. It's not huge, but, 30, single family homes. Under 300,000, I would say most everything will be around 3 to 325, maybe 350, but still, when our average price is pushing 400,000, you get a brand new home, customized the way you want it, possibly with a view, in town. I mean, there's really not a lot of options out there, so we're optimistic, we're excited. So once we start breaking ground, I think we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, just to be able to go show them, because I get a lot of people who are in that 350 mark, and it's like, okay, unless you want to be in Cheshire, let's consider some new builds, because you're going to get a brand new home for the same price as everywhere else.
Yeah. And this isn't a huge community. So, some of the drawback to those other communities is there's hundreds of homes. It's very packed. It's very dense. And this is different. It's going to be a little bit more quaint, a little bit more just kind of an offshoot community in town. And I think the east side, if there's more and more things going that way too.
Yeah. Excuse me. So that's Flagstaff. What's happening in Williams? Because I was from Williams a little bit.
Yeah.
I grew up there for about 6 years. I got a ton of friends and family over there. I worked for the Forest Service out there during college, did the firefighting thing. So I got a lot of people out there, which is nice, and kind of in parks too. But what's coming in Williams as well? That's got me excited.
Well, Williams is a budding little community, as we know. I mean, where flag prices are going up, and you can get into Williams, 30 minutes away for, quite a bit, 20-30% less in some cases. So we've got a community there. It's called Pine Trails. It's located just off downtown, over by Grand Canyon Brewery, behind the school. I don't even remember how many acres. It's large. There's about 80 lots. So we've got 60 of them that we're selling.
Nice.
And these are going to be manufactured homes, but when you see these manufactured homes, these are very, very nice homes. 9-foot tall ceilings, flat inside. They feel like a house. These will be brand new, starting at under 200,000 for a 2.2. Up just over 200 for some of our bigger models. This is on track to get going here real soon. We got the public report, and we can actually start showing the community the roads in. Everything's in. We just need a couple assurances on that to get going. But those we should be starting to sell probably April. And we have 3 business opportunities right now for somebody with model homes paying 9%. So you can get, 1 or 3 model homes, and with a builder leaseback for 3 years. This is a 9% cash on cash return for investors. Because we're going to be here for a while, building 60 units out there. And 2 things, Ian Williams downtown under 200,000.
That's huge.
Is really hard to find, and especially brand new, not 1920s from the railroad days. Yeah. Granted, don't let the manufactured home, stigma maybe scare you away, or anybody for that matter, because these things are built to better, if not equal, standards of many new homes these days. The factories that build these things are pretty cool. I've seen a lot of what they've been doing. We've been doing manufacturers now for several years, and they're very nice. Front porches on these things, full insulation, you name it.
Who's doing the building?
This is all done by Brookfield Communities as well.
Okay.
The manufactured homes are through Cavco.
That's what
So we're the developer of the units with Cavco on
this.
Yeah,
Cavco are super nice homes. I'm very familiar with all the double wides. And we show a lot of them because we get people who want to live out, north on that 64. So that's the crazy thing, because north on that 64 a little bit, there's all those, double wides.
Right.
And they're a little bit older, and they're all ranging 180 to 250, some of them. Now you can be in downtown Williams right there for that price range. It's
no hauled water.
Yeah.
And, what Brookfield is really good at is building communities. This is more than just homes and land. This is like a community, or both of these we see will be communities with like a culture, a lifestyle sense to it. And there's not a lot of amenities, but when you have similar homes, similar style people, you have a really nice community you can come and go. You can do second homes with these. You can do Airbnbs on both communities. So, in our markets, that's a really important thing, and a lot of people are looking for that.
Yeah, I get calls on Airbnb pretty much every other day.
Yeah.
Can I get this? And I was like, it's in an HOA. You might not want to.
Yeah.
may not want to do that, but that's gonna be nice. That Flagstaff community, just 30 houses. That is gonna be real Flagstaff. You know, you're gonna get to know everybody. You know, in there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know, if you're that type of person, and then same thing in that Williams location. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a small town over there. You know,
Yeah.
people know each other. They get to know each other, and you kind of went over it a little bit quickly, but break down, you know, in layman's terms, I guess, what you got going on with the investor side in the Williams location.
Okay, so basically a model leaseback is a home that the developer owner will build and develop, and then we sell it back to an investor who holds the property. But the builder or developer, Brookfield, will maintain the home as a model. So we're not looking at a tenant-occupied property. We're looking at, you know, light traffic from home buyers and realtors who sit at it. It'll be nicely, you know, pointed and furnished, and basically we pay rent to do that. And so the owner who buys the property gets a cash-on-cash return, guaranteed 9%. Which I think is great in this market right now.
That's
so
really
you
good.
buy the home at opening prices. Let's just say it's, you know, 190 to 200 for some of these models, upgraded, nicely appointed, and you know, we pay you every single month rent, you know, based on that return. And at 3 years, you get the home back. You can own it. You can live in it. You can sell it. You can turn it. You can rent it. You can do whatever you want with it. So. You get a guaranteed income. You get an upgraded home right out of the gate, better than new, really. After the 3 years, you get a built-in appreciation. You know, ideally after the term, you know, and there's by that time usually the community's pretty well full. So then you can pretty much, you know, flip it and make it even more, you know, a return on your investment, ideally, or keep it as a long-term rental.
Yeah, I love that. How many of those are you looking to do?
3.
Just 3. So you just need 3. Okay.
Just 3.
Just 3. I like that opportunity. I mean, it's a great opportunity. Get 9% on your money. Yeah.
It's not a big concept around here. In other markets where I work, it's huge, and people love that because, you know, stock market right now, you might get X return. You know, if you're dealing with tenant occupied properties, you might get a similar, if not less, return. But you're dealing with, you know, tenants that may not be caring for the home as well as you want. So after that term, you got to go and fix up the home. Here you're dealing with a builder who's going to basically make this home new again at the end of the term.
After 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you walk away. You don't have to do anything. You just collect your check, and it's a great opportunity for those that want that who want to invest in real estate, who want some cash on cash return. And who wants some security, you know, with an up and coming community?
Yeah,
because usually the prices are cheapest when you get in, and then
you said it. You know, it's going to build out 80 homes, and after 3 years, you should get a little bit of forced appreciation in there, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had $200,000 laying around, I'd probably give it to you. Right now, we don't, but one day we'll be there. But I like it. It's a great opportunity. You know, I saw everything that you had written down there, but it's nice to hear it just kind of spelled out to some people. And you're only looking for 3 of them, so I mean.
Or one to buy all of them.
Yeah, exactly. You should be able to find. That's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, well, I know a couple of people I can call, but you know,
let's discount.
Yeah, let one guy do it all. Yeah, well, that's good. That's pretty much all I wanted to hit on. We're kind of running out of time. I don't know. Anything we missed? I don't know if we have any Facebook questions, but we'll get to those later.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What about your questions that you always ask about, like favorite?
Well, we're low on time.
We're good.
Yeah. Any favorite books? This is what I like. Books. I'm a book guy. What's your favorite book
I go
right
up
now?
and down.
Well, what
books.
book do you
my
give?
wife owns a bookstore, so I got way too many books around me. So I'm more of a nonfiction. A fictional type. Nonfiction. Yeah. So I liked the 10X rule. I read that recently. Obviously, I still resort back to that. Currently, I'm reading Tony Robbins' Master the Game and Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans. I mean, I like his podcast, and that's a good kind of recap on a lot of that stuff. Both not real estate. I try to stay away from real estate. I'm around it so much, and I find some of my best ideas come outside of real estate.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm in right now. But with kids, it's hard to settle down and read. So most of my absorption comes in the form of podcasts
and audio books. Yeah That's good. I got all 3 of those books on my bookshelf, and good. 10X I probably listened to on Audible I don't know, about 4 or 5 times by now. So that is a good one. Do you recommend any books to people? You know, I did one that I absolutely love, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
I haven't read that one. I know it's been referred many times.
Yeah, that one I love. I send it to people. I'm like, it's simple, it's easy. It'll change your life if you apply it.
You know, to those out there that want recommendations, it's hard, but just read something, you know. I find that once you read one thing, it leads to another thing, and then you kind of just get into the groove of growth and education. So, I mean, any one of those books I think are great, you know, but it's only going to work if you're in that right mindset. Yeah.
I always like to ask about the morning and night rituals. You're probably a Tim Ferriss fan too. With kids, it gets a little crazy, but do you have any morning and night?
I listen to those podcasts. I'm like, how do these guys do this?
It's
how do they have this dedication? I mean, not that I don't desire that, but you know, with kids and businesses and taking care of family that I have as well, it's challenging. So I don't really have a lot of rituals other than I get up and I go to bed.
That's it. Just survive the day.
But you know what? I love getting up and I love getting going on the day and, you know, having some coffee and, you know, I like the quiet times in the morning and the quiet times at night, those few moments that you get. But, you know, I'm just always thinking, so.
Yeah, I like it. Well, you talked a little bit about it. You said sometimes your best ideas come from outside of real estate books, and same here. So what are you working on, learning, you know, educating yourself on outside of the real estate practice?
Leadership right now is big to me. Just, you know, how do you do what I do on a better level to lead people, to educate them, to help them to be the best they can, you know, and just to take our organization to the next level so we can continue to be, you know, a force in the market, of course, but also in the state and the region, et cetera. And I think that comes down to leadership. And what I've realized is you can't do this on your own. You got to have good people around you, and you got to lift up the leaders that you have as part of your team and help lead them. So that's really what it comes down to right now. I'm just trying to figure out and grow as a leader and how to be better at that so that we can continue to do bigger and better things and help the individual people like yourself just take your business to the next level. Because I think when you win, we all win. And that's kind of the rewarding things. And I love real estate, but I think there's something bigger out there, and that's kind of what I'm working towards.
Nice. I like it. I'm glad to be part of it and being here. That's awesome. What about any shows? Are you watching Netflix, HBO? Are you into anything?
My daughter's 2, so, you know, when she was younger and still today, you know, binge on certain things. I liked Narcos. Yeah. I watched pretty much all of those. I don't know. Maybe that's the...
I like Narcos. I watched the first season for sure. I think I cranked through it, and my buddy was telling me when season 2 came out, and I haven't started it yet. But.
I don't know, House of Cards. Kind of go in spurts with whatever I can get online. But
that's about the same.
Try not to watch too much TV because it sucks you in. It's a time sucker. But
you know, the kids, it's like, all right, get them into bed, get that hour show, and then I'm out cold. You know, read my book and fall right asleep. I'm sure pretty similar. Favorite Flagstaff restaurant? I like my food. So.
I like foods, yeah. It changes a lot right now. I mean, we just went to Copa Cafe. I think that's always a good little meal. Criollo downtown. Really like that. Shift is probably one of our new kind of go-tos if my wife and I get out. Have you been to Shift yet?
I haven't been to Shift yet.
So it's kind of a ever-changing little menu.
Oh, cool.
You know, nice.
That's nice to go into.
Yeah, you just get little tapas and appetizers, but they do have a good meal. And then probably our go-to as a family is Fat Olives.
Yeah.
We go there.
Yeah. Jenna loves Fat Olives.
Get the pizza, lasagna, the veggie platter.
Nice. We still haven't been into Fat Olives. We got to try it out. So Fat Olives got to be on my list. Shift will do. Me and Sammy just had date night on Saturday, and we went to Root downtown.
I've not been to Root either, but I want to check that out.
Yeah, I like Root. That's a good little date spot. Well, cool. That's pretty much all the questions I had. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so today I'd like to wrap it up. Just what are you most grateful for today?
Oh, so much, man. I mean, there's so many blessings in life, but you know, I got a wife at home that really allows me to do what I do and take care of the kids and her dad and all these things that we do. It's, we homeschool our kids as well. And it's a lot going on with 7 offices, homeschooling kids, taking care of family, traveling a lot. So, she's a saint. She works hard, and she supports our whole mission in terms of keeping it all together. So
nice. I love it. Behind every great man is a woman.
Right. Yeah.
Love it.
That's for you, Sammy.
As she sits behind the camera.
Yeah.
Running this show.
Normally she's on camera, but all right. Well, that's pretty much all I had. Thanks for giving me the time and doing this. It's appreciative.
Those that want to know, reach out. Realty One Group Mountain Desert here in Flagstaff. Sedona, Flagstaff, Prescott, Havasu, Kingman.
There you go.
Chino, Cottonwood.
Shoot, we're all around. All of Arizona. Yeah. That's good. I got a bunch of people asking me, so this is what I'll be sending them. Listen to this. Talk to Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's his email.
Hey guys, I want to keep it real with you. Thank you guys for listening to this week's podcast. If you could do us a huge favor and write us a review, it really helps out the channel. Samantha and I really, really do appreciate it. So go ahead and write us a review. Thank you so much. If you know anyone that I should be talking to, please do send them our way. We really appreciate it. See you guys for next week's episode. Until then, keep it real.